Good morning, Gills fans. Happy Friday, one and all. We are back on Gills in the Blood TV to look at the key points from AD Pennock's press conference this morning and to look ahead to tomorrow's game against Coventry, a little bit of a match preview. Got the local paper with me, couple of headlines on there, which we'll go into in more detail in a little while. But first things first, in AD's press conference this morning, obviously he touched on Tuesday, said that there were lots of positives to take, but we have to be more clinical in front of goal if we want to win football matches. Also talked about clean sheets, and I think there's a bit about that in the paper, saying if we don't keep clean sheets, we don't win football matches. Basically reiterating and trying to drum into us, I think, and drumming into the players, we have to do the basics right, have to keep getting the simple things correct, and then ability will shine through. Someone asked him in the press conference regarding Coventry being a game that we should win because they're near the bottom of the league. He was quite blunt in his response and saying that he's a little fed up of the press picking and choosing which games he feels we should win as a football club, stating that all games are winnable, whether that's Sheffield United, Bradford, Coventry, Port Vale, it doesn't matter. Gillingham Football Club are in the business to try and win football matches, and that's what he's doing regardless of who we play. On Coventry, he said he thinks that due to off-the-field activities, maybe they're in a slightly false position. That's his call. He also touched on us and said maybe we're in a slightly false position because he thinks in some of the games we've done enough to win. But bottom line, he stated, is the table doesn't lie. We're both there for a reason and we're not winning enough football matches. Regarding Joe Quigley, he said that he was meant to play 90 minutes at the request of Bournemouth in the week, and then he would be allowed to join up with us. Unfortunately, he only got 45 minutes. So despite what's in the paper, Joe Quigley is unfortunately not available for tomorrow's trip to Coventry. They're hoping to get more minutes into him next week and have him available in the very near future. Regarding systems and formations, he was asked about obviously the 4-4-2 diamond that we played on Tuesday. He said he was very happy with how it went. Generally it was very good for 80 plus minutes. So don't be surprised, he said, if we stick with the same formation at Coventry. So he obviously wants to try and get us on the front foot, trying to get us on the ball, trying to push them back, and hopefully win the football match, obviously. Obviously, talking of winning, he said this first one is absolutely crucial. It can't come quick enough. He said regarding the players, obviously we need it for them as much as us as fans and a club, and for 3 points, because despite being professional footballers, he says, and they are in a very privileged position, they get paid to obviously do what they love. They are still human beings and will be affected by the fact that we're not winning football matches. He touched on the fact that he himself is lucky to be in a privileged position, being paid well, to do what he loves, to coach football at a professional level. And he said that obviously that's why, win, lose or draw, he will always go and applaud the fans of this football club, because they work hard during the week to come and pay, to travel, to watch us across the country. But yeah, I think that was probably the main points of the press conference. He also mentioned that the spirit amongst the boys is very good. He said they were down obviously after Tuesday, but they've had some very good training sessions in the week, and now they're all looking forward. Their focus is obviously 100% on tomorrow's trip to Coventry and getting that first win, that elusive 3 points. And he said they're focused just on the game. He said they can't worry about any sort of exterior activities that may be occurring regarding Coventry and their off-the-field situation. He said if protests happen, if things are chucked on the pitch, then so be it. But as it stands, that's not in the thought process. We're 100% focused and concentrated on going to win 3 points for Gillingham Football Club. Right, on to tomorrow's game in more depth. Like I said, I've got the local paper with me. Couple of headlines. Pennock rues loss of old-fashioned approach. I think this is regarding his comments in the week about academy football, tippy-tappy football, how players lack certain mental fortitude, minerals as it were, or nether regions, as he put it. He's not impressed with how the game is run at a lower level in terms of grassroots football, and he thinks it's affecting first team football. We've already mentioned that Joe Quigley unfortunately will not be available, despite what it says on the back of the Medway Messenger. Inside, obviously, there's a match report from Tuesday, and it runs the headline Valentine's Day Heartbreak. As we're all too aware of, we conceded in injury time. Despite bossing the football match, despite creating plenty, I think we had 2 cleared off the line, 2 hit the frame of the goal. We didn't get over the line. We need to change that. In terms of team news, AD stated in his press conference that 2 or 3 are touch and go for tomorrow. He wouldn't reveal who, except for Chris Hurd. Obviously, we're aware of him because he didn't feature on Tuesday nights, but he would not disclose the other 2 players. So I assume we'll find out at some point tomorrow when the team gets announced. Looking further into the paper, Stuart Nelson has come up out and said, we cannot afford to be sulking. Obviously, spot on with that. It's done now. We cannot change Chesterfield. We can't make the result any better. We have to learn from it. We have to move on. And we have to make sure that, as Adi already stated and I mentioned earlier on, that we do the basics right. Again, on the same page, again, Adi reiterating at the bottom there, if you can see, goal was unacceptable. It's small things, small fine lines at this stage of the season as we get to the business end. And unfortunately, for one reason or another, we seem to keep coming out on the wrong side of the line at the moment, so we've got to change that. The other piece today, bear with me just a couple of seconds, is Rory Donnelly writing for the Shouting Men column. Unfortunately, we're all aware that he was very unlucky, despite a very good performance on Tuesday. Hit the inside of the post. I've said before plenty of times, an inch inside that post. I think it goes in off the post rather than back out. But he's confident a goal will come. I don't care how. The same could be said for a couple of our strikers, Cody included. Just needs one to go in off his backside or bobble in off his shin or hit him on the head and go in, I think. And then hopefully we can get him on a run. That's pretty much everything covered now in terms of the press conference and the match preview for tomorrow at Coventry. I will do a prediction. I think we have to win. I think Adi's aware of that. I think the players are aware of that. I know the pitch isn't going to be great. They play rugby on it. It's going to be bobbly and horrible. It's big. It might not be pretty at all, but I'm going to go for a uncomfortable, hard-working, horrid 2-1 Gillingham win. Anyway, that's all from me for today. Once again, thank you for all the likes, the subscribes, the shares, the retweets, viewing my stuff. If you like it, it's great. If you don't, no problem at all. We don't all agree. That's the beauty of football. But as always, until next time, up the Gills.